Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Pure Speak English. I'm Ben.
And I'm Crystal. We're so glad you're here with us today.
Before we start, I want to ask you something. How are you feeling right now? Really, not just fine or okay, but how are you truly feeling?
That's such an important question, Ben, because so many of us go through our whole day without ever stopping to check in with our feelings.
Exactly. And today, we're going to talk about something that's important for everyone, not just for English learners, but for human beings. We're going to talk about feelings, and more specifically, how to talk about your feelings in English.
This might seem like a simple topic, but actually, it's one of the most difficult things to do. Even in our native language, talking about feelings can be scary.
So true, because when we talk about our feelings, we make ourselves vulnerable. We open our hearts. We show the world who we really are inside.
But here's the beautiful thing. When you learn to talk about your feelings in English, you become a better communicator. You build deeper connections with people, and you understand yourself better too.
So today, we're going to guide you through this journey. We'll share some personal stories, we'll teach you simple words and phrases, and we'll give you the confidence to express what's in your heart.
Are you ready? Let's take this journey together.
Crystal, can I share something with you? Something I've never really talked about before?
Of course, Ben. Please.
When I was learning my second language, Spanish, I remember feeling so frustrated. Not because the grammar was difficult, not because I couldn't remember vocabulary, but because I couldn't express my feelings.
What do you mean?
Well, I could say basic things like I'm happy or I'm sad, but those words felt so small, so empty, because inside I was feeling so much more than just happy or sad. I felt excited, nervous, hopeful, overwhelmed, all at the same time, but I didn't know how to say it.
I completely understand that feeling. It's like having a whole ocean of emotions inside you, but you can only express a single drop.
Exactly. That's such a perfect way to describe it. And I think many English learners feel this way too. They know how to say, I'm fine or I'm tired, but they can't express the complexity of what they're really feeling.
And that's what we want to help with today, because feelings are not just simple words. Feelings have layers, they have colors, they have depth.
Yes. And when you learn to express those layers in English, your conversations become so much more real, so much more meaningful.
So let's start from the beginning. Let's start with the most basic feelings, and then we'll go deeper together.
Ben, what would you say are the most basic feelings that everyone should know how to express?
Good question. I think there are 6 basic emotions that are universal. These are feelings that every human experiences, no matter where they're from or what language they speak.
What are they?
Happy, sad, angry, afraid, surprised, and disgusted. These are the foundation. If you can express these 6 feelings, you already have a strong starting point.
Let's go through them one by one. First, happy. What are some ways to say you're happy?
Well, you can say, I'm happy, but you can also say, I feel good, or I feel great, or I'm in a good mood today.
Ooh, cheerful is a lovely word. It means happy in a bright, energetic way, like sunshine.
Exactly. And here's something important. You can also say why you're happy. For example, I'm happy because I spent time with my family, or I feel good because I finished my work.
That's so important, because when you add the reason, you're not just naming the feeling, you're telling a story. You're connecting with the other person.
Right. Now let's talk about sad. How can you express sadness?
You can say, I'm sad, but you can also say, I feel down, or I'm feeling a bit blue, or I'm not myself today.
Feeling blue is such an interesting expression. It means feeling sad or melancholy, and melancholy is a gentle, quiet kind of sadness.
Yes, it's not dramatic. It's just soft and heavy at the same time, like a gray sky.
And again, you can add the reason. I feel down because I miss my friend, or I'm sad because I didn't do well on my test.
What about angry?
Anger is interesting because there are different levels. You can say, I'm angry, But you can also say, I'm annoyed. That's a lighter form of anger. Or I'm frustrated. That means you're angry because something isn't working the way you want.
And if you're really, really angry?
You can say, I'm furious, or I'm really upset. But here's something important. In English, we often soften our language when we talk about anger. We might say, I'm a bit frustrated instead of, I'm angry, because it sounds more polite.
That's true. We don't always want to sound too aggressive, so we use softer words.
Exactly.
Now let's talk about afraid. This is a feeling many people have, but don't always express.
You can say, I'm afraid, or I'm scared, or I'm nervous. These are all similar but slightly different.
Right. Afraid and scared mean you're worried that something bad will happen. Nervous means you're anxious or uncomfortable about something, usually something in the future, like before a presentation or a test.
And you can also say, I'm worried. That's when you keep thinking about a problem and you can't stop.
Yes, I'm worried about my exam, or I'm nervous about speaking English. These are very common feelings for language learners.
Ben, I want to share something personal now, something that happened to me last year.
Please, go ahead.
I was invited to give a presentation at a conference in English, and I should have been excited, right? It was a big opportunity. But instead, I was terrified.
Why were you so scared?
Because I was worried about my English. I kept thinking, what if I make a mistake? What if people don't understand me? What if they judge me?
I think so many people feel this way. What did you do?
Well, at first, I tried to hide my feelings. I told everyone, I'm fine, I'm ready. But inside, I was panicking. And then, 3 days before the presentation, I talked to a friend and I told her the truth.
What did you say?
I said, I'm really nervous. I'm afraid I'm going to fail. I'm worried that my English won't be good enough. And you know what happened?
What?
She said, thank you for telling me. I feel the same way when I have to speak in public. And then we talked for an hour. We shared our fears, we encouraged each other, and by the end of that conversation, I felt so much lighter.
That's beautiful. Because you were honest about your feelings, you created a real connection with your friend.
Exactly. And that's what I want everyone listening to understand. Your feelings are not weak. They're brave, they're honest, and they bring people closer together.
I love that story, Crystal. And I think it's a perfect example of why learning to express feelings is so important, not just for language learning, but for life. Now, let's go a bit deeper, because feelings are not always simple. Sometimes we feel multiple things at the same time. Sometimes we feel something we can't quite name.
Yes, that happens to me all the time. I'll be feeling something and I'll think, what is this? Is it sadness? Is it frustration? Is it something else?
So let's talk about some more complex feelings. Feelings that are harder to describe, but very real.
Okay, what's the first one?
Overwhelmed. This is when you have too much to do, too much to think about, too much to feel. It's like your brain is full and you can't process anything else.
Ooh, I know this feeling well. How do you express it?
You can say, I feel overwhelmed, or I have too much on my plate. That's an idiom. It means you have too many responsibilities or tasks.
Or you can say, I can't handle this right now, or it's too much for me.
Exactly. And here's the thing, it's okay to feel overwhelmed. It doesn't mean you're weak, it means you're human.
What's another complex feeling?
Lonely. This is a very deep feeling. It's not the same as being alone. You can be surrounded by people and still feel lonely.
That's so true. Loneliness is when you feel disconnected, like nobody really understands you or sees you.
Yes, and you can express it by saying, I feel lonely, or I feel isolated, or I feel like nobody gets me.
These are difficult things to say, but they're so important because when you express loneliness, you give someone else the chance to reach out to you, to connect with you.
Absolutely. And here's another one, grateful. This is a beautiful feeling. It means you're thankful for something or someone in your life.
How do you express gratitude?
You can say, I'm grateful for you, or I appreciate you, or I'm thankful for this moment, or simply, this means a lot to me.
I love these expressions. They're so warm and genuine.
And when you express gratitude, you not only make the other person feel good, but you also remind yourself of the good things in your life.
Ben, I think we should talk about something that many people struggle with, expressing difficult feelings without blaming others.
Oh, that's such an important topic. What do you mean exactly?
Well, sometimes when we're upset, we say things like, "You made me angry," or "You hurt my feelings." But actually, this kind of language can create conflict.
Because you're putting all the responsibility on the other person.
Exactly. So there's a better way to communicate. It's called using I statements.
Can you explain how that works?
Sure. Instead of saying, "You made me angry," you say, "I feel angry when you do this." Or instead of, "You never listen to me," you say, "I feel unheard when I try to share my thoughts."
Ah, I see. So you're taking ownership of